Hello everybody. In this video I am going to discuss the modes. In previous videos I've discussed the chromatic scale, how to figure out letter names on the bass, building whole steps, half steps, intervals, major and minor scales. So this is just another step in figuring out different ways to play melodies or ways to improvise or go through chord changes. Some melodies are written specifically in a certain mode, and there are various ways of looking at the modes, applying the modes. So depending on the situation that you're in, or depending on what you create or what you come up with or your understanding of them, whatever, like I said, whatever the situation calls for. And so I'm going to play 7 of the most common modes. There's all kinds, but I'm going to start with the 7, and I'm going to base them off of C major. So previous videos we know that the major scale formula, the combination of whole steps and half steps, is we find our root note, then we go whole step, half, whole, whole, and half. I also talked about playing that pattern in different spots on the bass, making sure that you don't get caught into a single finger pattern. So play it up and down, even one string is great. Play it up and down one string, play it across 2 strings, play 2 octaves, play the notes in various orders, just whatever it takes so you get a really good understanding of it. And all those concepts can be applied to each one of these modes. So the first mode is a major scale. And like I said, we're going to base it on C. The fancy mode term is Ionian Mode. That term's not used much because most musicians just say major scale. Let's play in major scale, or it's in a major key. So that mode is identical to a major scale, same formula and everything like that. So if we were to take that mode and we are going to number the notes of that scale. For example, C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, G is 4, or F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and then C is 8, and that's why it's the octave. And there are no sharps or flats in the key of C major. So what I'm going to do, a mode is what you do is you take each one of the notes of that scale. For example, I'm going to take the second note of the scale, D. I'm going to start on a D, end on a D, and then I'm going to play one of every letter in between, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, back to D, but they're going to be all natural notes. So that's how it relates to C majors, because there's no sharps or flats. So I know D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and D. By studying the chromatic scale and by learning all the letter names of the notes on the neck, I know I can begin on a D and I end on a D. Here's a D up here. I'm going to do a different finger pattern. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So I'm just playing D to D and I'm thinking all natural notes. And the term for that mode is called Dorian. So if you take a root note, whole step, half, whole, 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 half, and whole, that's a Dorian mode. And that's the second note of the C major scale. Third note of the C major scale is E. So I can play that 2nd fret on the D, or the E can be played 7th fret on the A string. I'm going to play this on the 7th fret. So I'm going to begin on an E, end on an E, and I'm going to put one of every letter name in there, in between, and they're going to be all natural. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. is called Phrygian. So if you do that combination of half steps and whole steps on any note, that's going to create your Phrygian mode. And that's the third note of the C major scale. Okay, fourth note of the C major scale is F. Starting on an F, ending on an F, one of every letter in between, all natural notes. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and F. And always think of the descending order. F, E, D, C, D, A, G, F. Then think of the combination of whole steps and half steps. For example, root note, whole step, whole step, whole step, half, whole, half, and descending order as well. So if you take that combination of whole steps and half steps and apply it to any note, that mode is called Lydian. So that's our Lydian mode. We have Ionian or major scale, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian. The next note we're going to start with is G. That is the fifth note of the C major scale, and I'm going to start on a G, end on a G, and every note in between is going to be natural. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So we got root note, whole step, half, whole, half, whole. And think of the descending letter names, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G. Think of the descending combination of whole steps and half steps. Whole, half, whole, half, whole. Whatever makes most sense to you. So that combination of whole steps and half steps is called Mixolydian. Okay, the next note of the C major scale is A. So now we're on the sixth note of the C major scale. And if I play A to A, all natural notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, as you know from previous videos, that is a pure minor scale. That is our minor scale. Starting on A, whole step, half, whole, half, whole. And again, you apply that combination of whole steps and half steps anywhere that builds your minor scale. Next note is B, and that is our last note of the C major scale, our seventh note. And what we'll do is we'll start on B and play B to B, all natural notes. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, in descending order. So that's the seventh note of the C major scale, all natural notes. We start on the root note, half step, whole, half, whole, and descending. And then the next note of C major scales, we're back to C, and so we're just playing the C major scale again, octave higher than what we started. And a few things that I always think about, or my advice is to think of the letter names of the mode, think of the combination of whole steps and half steps of each particular mode, and apply that to different letters so you can think of the mode as it relates to a certain key, or you can think of the mode just independent of anything, just that mode kind of operates on its own. And so when you know the combination of whole steps and half steps of any mode, then you can move it anywhere on the bass. So those are just a few things to think about, and maybe you can come up with some really cool exercises, or maybe start writing some really neat bass lines or chord patterns, or improvise through changes using these ideas. It's always good to play each of these with various finger patterns, going more than just a single octave. I just did one octave right now, just for the sake of making the video a little shorter. But for example, if you do C major, it's always good to take it up and take it back down, the Dorian, all the way up and all the way down, and 2 octaves, so just really get a good feel for the modes and their combination of half steps and whole steps, and how they fit onto the fingerboard. So hopefully this kind of sheds some light on some things, and maybe it helps you out in your playing in some kind of way. So have fun with that, and until next time.